because News9 is here with your weekend dose of entertainment. It's time to take a deeper dive into the buzzworthy happenings of the entertainment world. From celebrity gossips to exclusive conversations, from nostalgic moments to News9's pick of the week, don't worry, we've got you covered here. And I hope you've grabbed your popcorn by now because News9's page 3 is here to serve you everything that we call entertainment. So do stay tuned every Saturday and Sunday, 2:30 p.m.
This is India's #1 news network, and you're watching News9, English news as it should be.
Thanks very much for tuning in to News9. You're watching Unmissable. I'm Nabila Jamal, and this entire hour we will be discussing in detail the attack that's killed 12 people in Delhi. There are all signs of it being a terror attack, but so far the authorities haven't explicitly said that this is a terror strike. But like I said, it's every angle of the investigation at this point. So far, the details that we have very clearly suggests and points to a terror attack, a white-collar terror module where doctors, students using their expertise to unleash terror. We have a lot more information today on the Delhi blast that happened right opposite the Red Fort. We will take you through those details with our panelists. And of course, towards the fag end of this hour, we'll also take you through a little on Bihar, the poll of polls. What's really happening in Bihar? In fact, the elections pointing that the Mahagathbandhan will lose out to the NDA. We're going to give you all those numbers, poll of polls, a little glimpse towards the end of it. Stay with us. As always, I start with the headlines first. Suicide bomber as the suspect, he's known as now Umar Mohammad, emerges as the man behind the wheels in the Red Fort car bombing case that's killed nearly 12 people. In fact, the probe uncovers white-collar Jaish-e-Mohammed terror network spanning multiple states involving doctors, students. Bhutan's Thimphu, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has vowed tough response to the Red Fort explosion that killed 12, saying agencies will get to the bottom of this conspiracy. The conspirators will not be spared. This is Prime Minister Modi's first reaction from a foreign country while he was on tour, said he'll get to the bottom of this. None will be spared. Exit polls predict a strong NDA sweep in Bihar elections after 68% turnout in the final phase, a record voter turnout of 66.9% cumulative for both the phases, highest ever. The results are seen as a key test of Chief Minister Nitish Kumar's personal and political standing. GRAP 3 enforced in Delhi as air quality deteriorates. Delhi government directs schools to conduct classes in a hybrid model for students up to class 5. So until the pollution levels are come under control, suggestion by the Delhi government is work from home and classes from home as well if possible. Supreme Court has asked the Election Commission to respond within 2 weeks by November 26 to pleas challenging special intensive revision drive, the voter cleanup drive in West Bengal and Tamil Nadu. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman accuses DMK of opposing voter list cleanup, claiming 5,964 fake voters found in Chief Minister M.K. Stalin's Kolattur constituency, including multiple IDs and false addresses. Amid viral death rumors, veteran actor Dharmendra's family issues a statement saying the 89-year-old Dharmendra is now recovering in the hospital and is stable. Bollywood stars including Salman Khan, Shah Rukh Khan, Amir Khan, Govinda all visited the actor at the Breach Candy Hospital where he's undergoing treatment. He's said to be responding to treatment now. Powerful suicide bomb that explodes, suicide bomber that carried out a blast there. It appears outside a judicial complex in Pakistan's Islamabad that's killed 12 people. Officials say the attacker detonated near a police vehicle after failing to enter the court premises. Turkish military transport plane en route from Azerbaijan crashes in Georgia. Defense Minister confirms a total loss of 20 crew members as President Erdogan offers condolences. That's the visual there, showing clearly how the Turkish fighter jet, in fact, the transport plane there, Turkish military transport plane that was en route from Azerbaijan crashes in Georgia. The way the plane there spirals, unfortunately none on board alive. All right, let me quickly start with all that we know on the Delhi terror attack. We're calling this a terror attack going by the information that we have. As per police investigation, it shows every sign of it being a terror blast. Now, giving you a little sense, without, of course, we know that we're waiting for the investigative agencies to come up with a clear word. But let me tell you, India is shaken by the powerful blast that's ripped through the heart of the national capital. The white I-20 car that exploded right opposite Red Fort metro station on Monday 6:52 p.m. killed 12 people, injuring 30. Many are receiving treatment at hospitals currently. The high-intensity explosions set vehicles ablaze. It shattered glass across the busy tourist hub, and the explosion was so impactful that you had nearly 3 kilometers around the central area of Delhi hearing that blast, windows shattered in many places around the vicinity there. That's how impactful it was. The NIA has now stepped in. Like I said, as much as the government has not explicitly said it's a terror attack, falling short of saying that word, they've said everything else. And now with the National Investigative Agency, the anti-terror agency coming to probe this case, clearly shows that this is nothing but a terror attack. It clearly appears to be one. Of course, we're waiting for officials to confirm that, though. At the center of this investigation is one Dr. Muhammad Omar. Dr. Umar Mohammad, said to be the man behind the wheels. He was the one driving that I-20 car. That's the man you see on our screens there, the suspected suicide bomber. He is a medical practitioner who turned allegedly radical. Police say that he was one driving that car and detonated near the Red Fort. In fact, latest information that we have is that he wasn't even supposed to be setting that car off. He had explosives in the car. We hear that out of panic, he pressed a detonator that went off. It was all out of sheer panic. He did not intend to do it right at that point, right then and there, but it appears that out of panic, he set it off. This is the latest information that we have coming from police sources. In fact, CCTV footage captures that man, Umar Mohammad, behind the wheels of the I-20 moments before the blast. If I could show you some of the CCTV footage there. Investigators suspect that Omar was carrying that improvised explosive device that triggered right from inside the vehicle. CCTV footage, please, if we can have that on our screens. Now, showing you that car there very clearly, moving about across different parts of Delhi and with the explosives inside the car. We hear that Omar has died in that blast himself as well. His remains are now being tested for DNA. His family members have been detained. They're now going through medical tests and interrogation. They're checking for a DNA match with him. But what's shocking is that this man and his background lead straight to a larger terror network that's been unearthed already by our investigative agencies. Omar's digital footprint and call records link him very clearly to Dr. Muzammil Shakeel and Dr. Adeel Rather, two doctors who were already arrested from Faridabad the same morning of Monday, yesterday, after a massive seizure of nearly 2,900 kilograms of explosive materials. 2 other doctors were already arrested for possessing this kind of explosive material. All 3 are believed to be part of Jaish-e-Mohammed linked module that's based in Pakistan. Sources say another Pulwama resident, Tariq, who already was in custody, supplied this Hyundai i20 car to the attacker, to Muhammad Omar, and he pulled off this attack after his 2 other associates were arrested by the police. He feared, out of panic, we understand that he pulled off this attack. Now, latest information suggests that he was not even supposed to be detonating it, but he did it out of panic. It was sheer panic that car went off. Investigators believe that after learning that his associates were arrested in Haryana, Omar absolutely panicked. He did not know what to do, and that may have led to this Red Fort attack. That he may be captured, he may be arrested, and therefore he should pull this off even before he gets into custody. The explosion site is now fully sealed off. NIA and forensic teams are combing through the area. 200 CCTV feeds are currently being examined. Chemical residues are being verified. If at all, it's the same ammonium nitrate that was seized. In fact, meanwhile, Delhi and neighboring states are all on high alert. Security has been tightened at airports, the railway station at this point on high alert. Religious sites across NCR, Mumbai, Chennai and Bengaluru all on high alert. Union Home Minister Amit Shah has chaired top-level meetings with the Delhi Police, with NIA, IB chiefs, the Jammu and Kashmir DGP. Prime Minister Modi and Defence Minister Rajnath Singh both have clearly said that while they condemn the attack, they will get to the bottom of it. A full-blown investigation, and they will ensure none will be spared. These were words of the Prime Minister and the Defence Minister themselves. I'll play that out for you.
कल शाम दिल्ली में हुई भयावह घटना ने सभी के मन को व्यथित कर दिया है। मैं पीड़ित परिवारों का दुख समझता हूं। आज पूरा देश उनके साथ खड़ा है। हमारी एजेंसियां इस षड्यंत्र की तह तक जाएगी। इसके पीछे के षड्यंत्रकारियों को बख्शा नहीं जाएगा। All those responsible will be brought to justice.
जैसे ही ब्लास्ट की सूचना मिली, दिल्ली पुलिस स्पेशल सेल, क्राइम ब्रांच, एनआईए की टीम, एसपीजी की टीम, एफएसएल की टीम मौके पर पहुंच गई है और सभी प्रकार की जांच हम तेजी से कर रहे हैं। हम सभी एंगल्स को ओपन रखकर सभी दृष्टि से जांच कर रहे हैं। घटना किस कारण से हुई, ये अभी कहना बहुत मुश्किल है। जब तक विस्फोट के स्पॉट पर से जो स्पेसिमेंस मिलेंगे, इसका जब तक एफएसएल का एनालिसिस, एनएसजी का एनालिसिस नहीं होता, इसके बारे में कुछ भी कहना दिक्कत है। मगर हम किसी भी एंगल को बंद नहीं मानते हैं। सभी एंगल का हम दृढ़ता के साथ आगे जांच करेंगे।
I extend my heartfelt condolences to all those who lost their lives in the tragic incident that occurred in Delhi yesterday. I pray to God to grant strength and solace to the bereaved families in this hour of deep grief. From this platform, I wish to assure my citizens that the country's leading investigative agencies are conducting a swift and thorough inquiry into the incident. The findings of the investigation will soon be made public. I want to formally assure the nation that those responsible for this tragedy will be brought to the justice and will not be spared under any circumstances.
All right, we have lots of eyewitnesses who've spoken, but we've been carrying that all through the day today. I'm going to bring in L.N. Rao, former DCP of Delhi. We also have Major General Rajan Kochar, who's a defense and strategy expert. We also have Ranjan Dwivedi, former DGP of Uttar Pradesh. Thank you, all of you. I really appreciate it. Major General Ranjan Kochar, would you want to open for us with the investigative trail so far, very clearly pointing out for this to be a terror attack, though agencies have not explicitly said it's a terror attack, but it's all pointing to that direction. What are the agencies waiting for?
Thank you, Jamila. I mean, it's a very, very valid observation which you have given right now. And especially your opening narrative has been a very beautifully structured narrative, I would say that, because it brings out various facets from yesterday to today. And I've been on your channel yesterday also and today morning also. And the sequential investigation and what results are coming forth. As a defense analyst or a military analyst, I can safely conclude that this is not a CNG blast. If we are thinking, if some people are thinking that the malfunction of a CNG vehicle, it is not. Second aspect is the chain of events which suggest to us in the last few days the type of actions being taken by the security forces in apprehending this doctor-centric network, the white-collar network, which is permeating into this civil society today is a cause of concern. I would like to say that it's a cause of concern. It is the tip of the iceberg because there are many such modules available right now which have not yet been identified. So that will be a big challenge for the security agencies. The second part is about that vehicle in connection, and you mentioned about Dr. Mohammed Umar. So we are being able to trace out this vehicle, the ownership of this vehicle, and we have also been able to trace out the people, all the doctors, Dr. Shakeel, who has been arrested. There is a doctor from Ahmedabad who was arrested, and we are able to trace out that everything is pointing to a place in Jammu and Kashmir which is called Pulwama. This vehicle is also related to that particular. If you see the documentation of the vehicle, it goes back to that place, and the entire doctor module. I think which is the first time we are seeing such a module in operation. It will be a revelation for the NSA as well as for the NIA as well as for the NSG, for the people to come to some kind of a deduction that this is a new kind of a strategy which is being employed. Now my last point, because I just want to keep it brief since you asked only an opening statement.
Yeah.
My last point is that do these handlers operate from a foreign soil? Because what we are seeing is these people are only the workers or who are radicalized people who are executing the orders from someone who is passing these orders. So we have not yet reached to that someone, I would like to say that, and the government is also circumspect right now. Government is not coming out with the entire details, though the investigation agencies must be privy to all that information. But what I can make out what is coming from the media is that there could be an involvement of Jaish in this attack.
Yeah, I'm going to basically get into details on the Pakistan link here, but just prima facie, it appears clearly to be a terror attack. Sir Ranjan Dwivedi, if you could fill us in on why the authorities are not saying it explicitly. Why aren't they calling this a terror attack already? They have busted a massive terror module. It appears that Mohammed Omar is clearly linked to a larger network, a white-collar terror network, where doctors, students are all indoctrinated to this level, radicalized to this level, where they're pulling out terror attacks. They're clearly linked with Pakistan's Jaish-e-Mohammed. Again, information given out by the investigative agencies that there is a link to Jaish, but yet they're not calling this one a terror attack yet. Why?
Yeah, that's a very good question. And initially, I think what deterred them from calling it even an IED explosion was that there was no crater formed, which usually forms if there's an IED explosion. And they thought there's a possibility that it was just the cylinder that exploded, but obviously it's not. And there's, now it's established that it was an IED explosion. And, as I mentioned in some channel yesterday, that, you see, the place was crowded, undoubtedly. But if the person wanted to have an explosion and create terror with the kind of explosives he had, he could have gone to a much bigger place, much more dense place, and caused a lot more anxiety, or casualty, sorry. The second thing is, you see, again, this was not a situation for a suicidal attack. A suicidal attack would be required only if your car is near or trying to enter a security establishment or a heavily guarded place or a heavily guarded individual. In that case, the person has to give up his life for the vehicle to explode. But here, this situation was not there. And it wasn't necessary for him to give up his life. And this leads to some kind of inkling that perhaps this was an accident. This was an accident. It wasn't intended to be done here. And what I add to it is, of course, it's very bad. This explosion happened. So many people lost their life. So many are injured. But a much bigger incident has been saved. This was a plan for a much bigger incident, which then would have been a planned terror attack. This is a terror accident, and it's because of this ambiguity that the security agencies are not, very forthcoming on the nature of this incident. Secondly, remember, the press and the people, common people, are very anxious, very eager to know as to what happened really. But the security agencies, for them, they would not like to divulge any information, because if they divulge information, that only cautions the terror modules, the handlers, and so on. Like you saw in the Bombay attack. You see, people were assembled there, the TV was there, and the TV was being watched. And then the IB said, look, put the newsmen away. Because of the TV, the handlers know exactly what's happening. So the intelligence agencies and the police would like to come up only with whatever is necessary or probably has already reached the public domain.
Yeah.
They would not like to be very forthcoming with information which they have collected. You see that then that their own networks, there are international networks, there are back channel contacts they have with other agencies, which works on one-to-one basis. There's a plethora of information. I'm sure by now, billions of data has been scored, has been searched.
Yeah.
But obviously, all that has not been brought forward. And why should they? Why should they? The interest of the people, interest of the country is that we should have a good investigation and reach wherever we can before the guys escape. So, the stage we're in, I'm very, very happy and very satisfied with the progress that we've made. It's a very unfortunate incident. We will feel very sorry about that. Then there's this one thing about doctors. This is another question that's being raised. Now, what I always say is that a man on the street who doesn't have anything to eat, for him to be radicalized is very difficult. Why? Because his concern is tomorrow's meals, his children, their education, and so on. Doctors and people in universities, they come in what's called the intelligentsia, and there's some kind of the effort all the time to come up with theories and intellectualize events, intellectualize trends, and so on. But these people, it's much easier to get radicalized because they think they're intelligent and they can be affected by ideology. And personally, you see, if this has a doctor, a motor mechanic, and a government employee and a teacher, I would be more concerned. If there are 3-4 doctors, that means they were together. And you know, the group on Telegram was called radicalized doctors, you know.
Wow.
So, and it was strange that, you know, this was missed by agencies and was not picked up. And it has led to this kind, or maybe it was picked up and that's how they got the Haryana, the Faridabad, the hall. That's also possible. But you see, they haven't revealed all that. But these are initially, I mean, these are the parents.
You know, from what you're saying, that there's a group called Radicalized Doctors on Telegram, and if it was spotted by the investigative agencies, I think they only underestimated it. Never thought it would get this far.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that if they spotted that, they got hold of that, and that's how probably the Faridabad hall came, you know.
Right.
I mean, that intelligence brought the Faridabad hall. You know? That's what I'm saying.
So it was a link. Basically, that's the group on Telegram was basically what led the police to bust this terror network.
This is
your assessment. Okay, I get it.
Yeah,
but kudos to the investigative agencies, the Jammu and Kashmir police, the Delhi police. They've done a fantastic job in ensuring that a terror attack did not take place. I'm not saying that this was small. 12 people have died in this attack right in front of Red Fort. It's bad enough. But imagine if at all these people achieved in what they were preparing for. I can only imagine the damage. The gravity of the situation would have been much and far more deeper. But I'd like you all to, for the moment, bring your attention to how this I-20 car came in to Delhi and its exact route, tracking that Red Fort blast trail. The Hyundai I-20 is at the center of this Red Fort terror blast. It entered Delhi from Haryana's Faridabad on Monday morning. CCTV mapping by the Delhi Police's special cell shows clearly that the car was crossing the Badarpur toll at around 8:13 a.m. in the morning, with the driver, who is suspected to be Umar Mohammad, seated right inside that car, paying that toll in cash. I'm showing you that video there of that toll yet again. That toll area, that car stopped and he paid in cash. There was no toll sticker. He paid in cash. He's not used a UPI. He's paid in cash. I'm repeating myself. And then he moves forward. Minutes later, at around 8:20 a.m., then the car stops at another petrol pump. Taking you through those images. The petrol pump where the car stops, that petrol pump, which is Okla industrial area. Again, if I may request for the visual of the petrol pump to be played out. Yeah, there you have it. The car there right in front of a petrol pump, and it stops for a pollution check. That's what it appears to be doing. I wonder why, but it stops for a pollution check. At that petrol pump, it could be very possible if that pollution check wasn't done. Cops in Delhi are always hovering to check what whether your vehicle pollution is done, to ask for your certificate. They're just in every nook and corner. And they usually ask you to step aside or stop to the side of the road if you don't have a pollution certificate right then and there to show the police. So it appears as if this man was very well prepared and he didn't want to get stopped because he had explosives in the car, ensured a pollution check and then moved forward from there. This is right as he got into Delhi in the morning of that fateful day. Well, from there on, this I-20 then drove through the outer ring road, headed towards Old Delhi area. It was later then seen entering the Sunehri Masjid area, the parking area where the car stopped, right near the Red Fort area. The car stopped near a masjid, Sunehri Masjid, at around 3:19 p.m. And for nearly 3 hours, Umar Mohammad sat in that car. He did not budge, not for a minute. He did not step out. He did not want to leave the car even for a minute. He stayed in the car for 3 hours, possibly waiting for some instructions or a signal or whatever. But after 3 hours, at 6:28 p.m., he drove out of that parking lot and then began moving towards central Delhi, possibly his destination. As he was driving past the bustling Chandni Chowk area, that I-20 passed through some religious places as well, including the Digambar Jain temple and the Gauri Shankar temple. It passed through all those temples but did not stop. And then it crossed the crowded electronics market area and one of the Red Fort metro entry points. Soon after that, barely 400 meters ahead of the metro station, the car takes a U-turn. Investigators believe that the U-turn was deliberate because he wanted to get as close to the Red Fort complex as possible. And second later, the blast ripped through the vehicle, and the closest point it was to the Red Fort, and it seems like it was a deliberate attempt to make a statement. He got very, very close to the Red Fort, taking a U-turn so that he could get as close as a private car can get to the monument. Sources say that Umar, he's a doctor from Pulwama. He has triggered this blast in panic after his two associates, Dr. Muzammil Shakeel and Dr. Adeel Rather, was arrested in Faridabad, where the police had seized 2,900 kgs of explosives just a day earlier. So out of panic, because his associates were arrested, he set off this blast. Investigators believe that they used ammonium nitrate fuel oil, ANFO, to make that explosive device. The car itself has a long trail as well. If I could tell you, this car, the I-20 car, it was sold in 2013, 2014 to a man named Salman in Gurgaon. Salman then sold it to Devendra in Okhla. Then Devendra sold it to another man in Ambala. And that man passed it on to Amir in Pulwama. And finally, from Amir, it reached Dr. Umar Mohammad. And it appears that the last few sales or last few buys, at least the last few people that took that car, did it without documentation. They did not fix documentation. They did not change the registration. The car was registered in the first owner's name, that was Salman. It was possibly done deliberately, knowing very well that a documentation would be easier for the police to track. So get a car without documents, and that's what usually happens in second-hand markets. Well, investigators now are trying to piece together all the links and are trying to trace if there is a larger network behind this. This is as large as it can get. If I could also bring in Ellen Rao, who's a former DCP of Delhi, to give us a little more. I just explained the route of this vehicle here, so meticulously planned. Mr. Rao, it clearly looks like there's enough and immense support that came for Umar Mohammad for him to carry out this blast. How would you read this case? In your view, what would you like to add to this?
Good evening, Nabila ji, and co-panelists and to your viewers. Really, yesterday's incident was very shocking, and it happened after about, you can say, 13 years. Last blast was, I seen that in the High Court of Delhi, gate number 5. After that, there is no much such a blast in Delhi, except one Israeli car was stick bomb was there. You very well explained the route of the car, and this is the car in which this explosion took place. We are just speculating, and we are just imagining whether it was out of fear, or out of sudden provocation, or out of fear that his colleagues have been arrested. There may be so many theories, but the investigators will let us know the complete story after the interrogation of the persons who have been arrested, who are treated to be the associates of this this person who has been stated to be killed in that car explosion. And now this is why this explosion took place near the Red Fort, because after so many years, when these terrorist organizations thought that we could not reach to the very important place in Delhi, I think that I congratulate the intelligence agencies of Jammu and Kashmir, and then the Faridabad police, who had a breakthrough in recovering the huge amount of this explosion, and that explosion is linked with this, I think so. So far the investigation is being carried out. That recovery of explosion and this car blast are definitely being linked, because their doctors are associated with each other, and they are found in a common communication network. So I think that that Red Fort was intentionally chosen, because there was no any reason for this person to coming from UP, Faridabad, and then to Delhi, and then particular to the walled city of that. They wanted to show to the world that they can reach to the historical monument Lal Killa and they can do anything they want to do that. I think so. This was their mind, because if the person was apprehensive of these persons who have been apprehended by in Faridabad, then why he would require to come into Delhi? He could have been escaped somewhere else where there is no apprehension of being arrested. And very closely you have shown that the trial of these cars, and then they also check the pollution check also, so that they could not be detected. They were very much apprehensive that they can be detected by the police.
Yeah.
They could be stopped by the police. That's why they get it the pollution check also. So they did not want it to be apprehended by the police in Delhi, but particularly coming to Delhi because they knew that Delhi police is more alert other than any other state police. So taking such a risk of coming to Delhi, if they were in apprehensive that their associates have been arrested, they want to escape from them, and after this blast triggered out of you can say frustration or by mistake, I don't buy this theory, because it was a deliberate attempt and it was well planned terrorist attack by the organizations which are sitting outside of our country. They are using our people here as OGWs and sleeper cells to get all these things done. Definitely the hands are not in our country. The main hands who are handlers handling these type of terrorists, they are definitely from Jaish-e-Mohammed, who is based in Pakistan. Very clearly the message should go to Pakistan after this incident, as our respected Prime Minister has said that they will have to face the music. Let us see how much time it takes about that we can see that these persons are taught the lesson as they are required.
Yeah, we're waiting for that lesson to come, but kudos, I'd say, again to our anti-terror agencies for cracking down on a large network. This could have been much bigger. And before I get to Dr. Abhimanyu, I'd like to draw attention for a little while on the people involved in this white-collar terror network. If I could explain to you the terror module that was busted by the anti-terror agencies. A major counter-terror operation across Jammu and Kashmir, Haryana and Uttar Pradesh has uncovered quite a large terror network run by radicalized professionals, and that includes 4 doctors. Joint teams of state police and central agencies carried out raids in Srinagar, in Faridabad, in Saharanpur, recovering nearly 3 tons of explosives, assault rifles, pistols, bomb timers and remote controls. The probe began after Jaish-e-Mohammed posters, we hear, appeared in Srinagar's Naugam. And this happened on October 19th. And that's where it alerted the security forces, and they traced down to what they found: white-collar terror module, which involves doctors, involves students using academic fronts, encrypted apps, fake charities to move money and weapons and explosives. A lot of them working or studying at the Al-Falah College and Hospital. Among those arrested are Dr. Muzammil Shakeel from Pulwama, teaching at Al-Falah University in Faridabad. Police have seized 358 kgs of ammonium nitrate, assault rifles, bomb-making material from his rented house. Another 2,563 kgs of explosives was later found nearby as well. That's the man. His associates, Dr. Adeel from Kulgam and Dr. Shaheen from Lucknow, Dr. Shaheen Shahid, have also been arrested. Dr. Shaheen, we hear, that's the lady there. She's from Lucknow. She's been arrested for allegedly trying to dump a rifle after Muzammil's arrest, 1. And 2, she's been found to have links with Jaish and their women's team, where they are recruiting from India for jihadi activities. And then is Dr. Umar Mohammad. Dr. Umar Mohammad, who was behind the wheels in the I-20 car. He was part of the same network, the same group, the car that exploded right in front of Red Fort that killed 12. Now, in a related case, another doctor, Dr. Ahmed Rather, a Hyderabad-based doctor who was radicalized online, he's also been arrested by the Gujarat ATS. We hear that he was trying to manufacture racin, which is a toxic, it's a poison, and the intention was, as per sources, that he was trying to mix it with water and then on into food. Again, a terror act. We hear that he is linked to Islamic State Khorasan province handlers in Pakistan. In the latest development, UP ATS and Jammu and Kashmir police arrested Dr. Parvez Ansari as well, brother of the accused Dr. Shaheen Shahid, the lady's brother, and the aide of key suspect Dr. Muzammil Shakeel. After a raid, they found a laptop, a phone and documents, all tracking this man to the rest. Meanwhile, Jammu and Kashmir police confirms the arrest of Mufti Irfan Ahmed Wage from Shopian, one of the 7 accused with Dr. Muzammil in the Faridabad explosives case. So officials here looking at a large racket, and it seems like a white-collar terror module has now been exposed. More arrests are also expected. Agencies are on their toes now. A question that I will finally take from Dr. Abhimanyu. Please go on, Dr. As we see here, Abhinav, I beg your pardon, Dr. Abhinav, your take on the white-collar terror module involving doctors and students all indoctrinated, seated in India, but having clear links with Pakistan. How? Such a large network.
Well, I think, we should not really fall prey to big-time jargon words like white-collar terror network. I think, if you look at the history, these groups like LAT and Jaish have been maintaining sleeper cells across the country for the last 2 decades, and if you look back in 2010s and 2005, there were deep-rooted modules of Jaish and Lashkar in other parts of the country, and they could orchestrate many acts of terrorism. Now, coming to the more recent past, I must say that after the abrogation of Article 370, they have completely changed the tactics and strategies in Jammu and Kashmir, and they are recruiting highly professional people, including doctors, professors, and those who are experts in tech-related work. They have changed the OGWs. You don't find the older OGWs who are identified, who are exposed, working with these organizations anymore. So they're completely anonymous faces, and they're more educated people, more professionals who are involved with these people, and they're working with them. Secondly, I must say that this new educated lot has been exposed to the developments in West Asia, and their radicalization is of an entire different level. They've been exposed to the activities of Muslim Brotherhood. They have carved inroads in India. And now, the way these new professionals, who are working with these groups, the way they operate is also very different. There's one handler sitting in Pakistan whose identity is entirely unknown. He is in touch with at least 80 to 100 different youngsters in Jammu and Kashmir. And that includes people who are working as part-time professors, maybe in coaching institutes, or maybe as doctors. He's giving them instructions in multiple different ways. There is complete anonymity. There is complete, I would say, lack of transparency. One person doesn't know what's happening at the other end. And one more thing that I would like to highlight is that such networks are spreading across the country. And in the future, we should expect a very vigorous terror-related activity from these PAK-sponsored groups, by these PAK-sponsored groups like LAT and Jaish. And one very crucial thing that needs to be brought in here is that these groups are going to operate in tandem with transnational terror groups like the Al-Qaeda in Indian subcontinent and the ISIS-K, because that will give them a plausible deniability, and it will also shift the blame. So I think we are in for tough times.
Well, Dr. Abhinav, thank you very much. I think, I suppose there is a problem with your network, but thank you very much, Dr. Abhinav, and that's all I have time for. I really appreciate all of you joining us. I think it's clear here with the investigative agencies suggesting that this is a terror attack. There's nothing short of a terror attack. We're waiting for a clear-cut press conference to come in from the agencies themselves for it to declare it to be one. But the terror network has been busted. We're hoping that those responsible for this have to be brought to book. I'm going to slip into a short break. We'll come back on the other side with a little on the Bihar polling sentiment. Who really has the edge? Poll of poll data. Stay with us.
पता है हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस आपकी फैमिली के लिए कितना जरूरी है? इतना जरूरी है कि भारत सरकार ने इस पे जीएसटी पूरी तरह से हटाकर 0 कर दिया है। पॉलिसी बाजार पर अब 1 करोड़ का हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस सिर्फ 550 रुपए महीने से शुरू। policybazaar.com।
बढ़ता है, खेलता है, झूलता उछलता है, दौड़ता कभी कभी दौड़ कराता है, आगे आगे बढ़ता है इंडिया, अमूल दूध पीता है इंडिया।
पेंटिंग में पहली बार बिरला ओपर्स एश्योरेंस, 1 साल में पेंट को कुछ भी हुआ तो पेंटिंग वापस करके देंगे। रजिस्टर करो birlaopus.com पर।
अर्जुन कुछ भी पढ़े मेमोरी में नहीं रहता।
Take a date, not bites. No added sugar, preservative के बिना। डेट्स, बादाम, पिस्ता, काजू और शहद से तैयार किया गया Lion Dates Nut Bites।
Lion Date Nut Bites.
What is to the nines? In literal terms, it's perfection. But to us, it's not just a phrase, it's an attitude. One that starts at your desk and sends a statement to the world. To the nines is about taking charge. It's a way of life where every seam, every fold, is crafted with excellence. It's timeless elegance and uncompromising quality made for the corner office. It's the ideas that inspire redefining order and elevating the tabletop. To the nines, for the leaders of today and the visionaries of tomorrow.
All right, let me cut across to a good look at what Bihar's sentiment really is. The poll of polls data is out. And before that, I'd like to take you through some big breaking news. I have with me our guests also joining us, but some big breaking coming in. Bihar has made history at the ballot box. The just concluded Bihar Legislative Assembly elections has witnessed a record-breaking voter turnout of 66.9%, which is the highest in the state since its first election back in 1951. What's even more remarkable is the participation of women voters. Female turnout reached an unprecedented number of 71.6%, outpacing male voters who recorded 62.8%. Battle for Bihar now just got a lot more intense, with data now coming to show that the numbers are overwhelming. Well, it's very interesting to see that this time people in Bihar had a clear mood to come out and cast their vote. All that SIR drive that happened, it appears clearly that the people were more upbeat when it came to casting their franchise. It seems like the SIR drive mostly has pushed people to come out and cast their vote, take their franchise seriously. Sir K.V. Prasad, thanks very much for joining me right here. Your quick take on what we see as the voter turnout here.
Well, it's very
record-breaking.
Yeah, very encouraging, the fact that such a high number have turned out, especially the women voters have come out with numbers. And obviously there could be a minor correction or some correction in the final voting figure when things fall in place. But as you mentioned, and the fact is, people of Bihar had very strong reason to come out and vote. As you also pointed out, the fact that after SIR they realized the value of vote. They realized that, people are very serious. They understood what a vote means to them. And obviously they also are looking for their own future. People speak through the ballot and speak for their own future. So they elect a person who they repose faith in, hoping that that person and the party to which they vote for go on to form the government.
Okay, so as much as the excitement now is finally over, they've cast their franchise, let me take our viewers through the poll of poll data. Now the pollsters are calling it quite a storming return to power for the NDA, the BJP-led NDA, while the Mahagathbandhan clearly trailing behind. As for the new entrant, Prashant Kishore's outfit seems to have missed the mark, failing to leave a mark in its debut outing. Quick look, the JVC exit polls. That predicts 135 to 150 seats for the NDA, while Mahagathbandhan is seen bagging 88 to 103 seats. Others are likely to get 3 to 7. And then we have the Dainik Bhaskar exit poll data, and that shows the NDA could sweep 145 to 160 seats. The Mahagathbandhan is seen at 73 to 91 seats and others at 5 to 10. This is Dainik Bhaskar. Now, Matriz, another pollster that forecasts, again, NDA between 147 to 167 seats and Mahagathbandhan at 70 to 90 seats. People's Pulse, another data, gives the NDA a clear edge, 133 to 159 seats. The Mahagathbandhan, 75 to 101 seats. And others 2 to 13. People's Insights, People Insights Projects, that's another pollster that's given NDA 133 to 148 seats, and the Mahagathbandhan about 87 to 102 seats. Then poll of poll data, as you see, on the whole, clearly, very clearly, with beyond a doubt here, puts the NDA in a comfortable position with roughly an average of 148 seats, while an average for the Mahagathbandhan stands at 88 and an average for the other parties there stands at 5. Prashant Kishore's outfit trails with just 2 projected seats. The magic number is 122 in the 243 member assembly in Bihar. All eyes now on November 14th when the real verdict is finally out. Who really wins Bihar? A clear edge. Ms. Smita, thanks very much for joining us. Why don't you give us your take on the Mahagathbandhan trailing? It was their best chance. The previous election in 2020, they nearly made it, barely 15 seats that they lost out on. One would have imagined that they would have put all their might and effort on the ground to ensure a victory here, but it's looking like a large gap. Nothing close. How far could this be from reality?
Yes, but you see, you are right. First of all, I must say that no matter who wins or loses on the 14th of November, the voters of Bihar, the women of Bihar have already won. It's a victory for democracy. It's a victory for the electoral system, and it's also a stamping of approval for the SIR, which has proved that people are more robust in exercising their franchise. Coming to the exit poll numbers, you've already told us the average, so I'm not going to repeat that. So probably the MGB, the Mahagathbandhan will stay somewhere between 80 to 100. And the NDA, if we go by the upper side, it's very high, but I would rather, being a conservative journalist, I would rather peg it a little lower, but still a very comfortable, happy majority. Now when you come to the last, you were comparing with the very little difference in 2020. Please remember, yes, it was just a difference of 15 seats, and in vote share less than 0.5%. It was about 0.03%. But then we must not forget the fact that in that election of 2020, the Lok Jan Shakti party, Chirag Paswan's party, was fighting separately. Upendra Kushwaha was fighting separately, having made an alliance with Mr. Owaisi and 1 or 2 very small, very negligible players. So it was more fragmented. Okay. Now this time there is a new player, PK. But when you look at the 2 alliances, the reason why the NDA seems to be surging ahead as per these polls is because that time Paswan's party made a very big dent into the JDU's kitty, their vote share. And even Mr. Kushwaha's party, who didn't do well in terms of numbers, had made a had damaged them in the Kushwaha votes. So we have to factor all that before we.
So what you're basically suggesting here is that the BJP NDA this time seemed a lot more united than ever.
Yes, I am saying that their caste umbrella was stronger. They gave a face of unity and they stuck together. I want to add a word on the Mahagathbandhan also. I think Tejasvi Yadav has worked very hard. I think his tickets, etc., were also wisely done. I think it is just like the allies are, helping the overall picture in the NDA. For Mr. Tejasvi Yadav, it is the allies who are pulling him down. I think the Congress is not going to do well at all. And Mukesh Sahni, who grabbed some of the biggest headlines in this election, is actually not getting even his own community, the Malla votes, properly. He is only getting a chunk of the Malla votes. And the others like Nishads and Ghatwar and Kevats and all, he is not getting. So it is Mr. Tejasvi Yadav's allies who will pull down the Mahagathbandhan in the final picture.
Okay, so united NDA versus the Mahagathbandhan. We thought this time the India Bloc alliance will be stronger. They'll work harder on the ground. We saw Rahul Gandhi personally, doing all the stunts and antics possible, jumping into water, getting dirty and mucky with the people of Bihar, really hoping to have picked the numbers for them. But it's
not translating into votes. It was lot of very good optics.
If I may just come.
Mr. Prasad, I was just coming to you on that. It hasn't really worked, but of course, I'd like to repeat again, we're not calling the elections. This is only poll of polls. The real picture could be very different or could be very close to this.
See, the one aspect of Mahagathbandhan we should remember is also that they had the left, and in particular CPI ML had performed credibly well in the last time, and that's why they wanted greatest. So I'm not going to push off MGP as entirely as a bloc pulling down Tejaswi. I mean, because there is a left contribution which is now part of the Mahagathbandhan kitty. So that is something I'll like to watch when the results come out.
So tell us a little more. What do you think has not worked for the Mahagathbandhan?
No, clearly, see, the Congress, right from beginning, people understood that Congress was not quite there. Despite whatever they had to, and in fact that is what led to the delay in the sheet sharing, because most allies felt the Congress was seeking more than they were biting more than it could chew. That was one aspect that was delayed the whole thing. The left, in particular CPI-ML, wanted a greater share. Of course, they got some amount more than what they wanted, less than what they wanted. But so these are aspects on which they felt, and probably some analysts have commented that Mr. Probably Sahani's VIP punched above its weight. So we'll have to see when the results come out, when the data is actually out, whether all these calculations.
What happened to Prashant Kishore's party? There were such hopes, and he's really been the mastermind behind TMC winning West Bengal, behind Aam Aadmi Party in Delhi at one point, behind BJP as well in 2014.
It's like different being a director. When you're directing somebody else, you have the big picture in mind, but when you actually get into the fray, things are different.
Okay, so you're saying, I mean, as we see here, clearly he wasn't able to make a dent, Ms. Smita?
I will just say, all the voters in Bihar I spoke to, particularly the youngsters, they really liked what Prashant Kishore was saying. They were excited by his issues. They also felt a sort of, affinity with him. But what they were saying, particularly the men folk, was that he is not the guy for this election. Because Bihar voters are very astute, they are very smart. They will not waste their vote, voting for someone who is neither here nor there, and in the process, allow for a government which they wouldn't want. So they were saying,
but neither here nor
they are ready to give him time actually. They didn't see him as a force for this election.
Okay.
So I think Jan Suraj is a work in progress.
Yeah, they like his ideas, but
they
they're
liked
not
what
able
he
to resonate.
said.
At least they they don't want a fractured mandate. Mr. Prasad, it's very difficult to have a fractured mandate because then the people suffer. And now the voters are very decisive, discerning.
Voters are discerning, voters are smart, they know where to put their ballot in. That's one thing. And I think what Smita was saying, I also feel that Prashant Kishore, if he has the staying power, will have to rework. But one thing he has certainly injected into Bihar polity is he has put issues on the front burner, which successive governments will find it difficult to take it off.
So you believe that Nitish is going to be the chief minister?
Well, I don't know. I will wait for the numbers to show up for the JDU and BJP, because that will going to determine not what happens pre-poll.
So what I understand is people are not worried or bothered about who the CM face will be. They're worried about which umbrella comes to power.
No, I think Nitish has the edge as a CM candidate, as a CM face. That's what they said. They went to him, but he definitely pulls. But we'll have to wait when the numbers show up on the board.
Yeah, I mean, that's, of course, I have no other choice but to wait, Ms. Smita.
No, I am fairly certain if the NDA comes to power, Mr. Nitish Kumar will be sworn in as chief minister, because this is a vote for JDU, BJP certainly and their allies, but it is also Nitish's vote, you see. It is also a Nitish Kumar mandate.
So Nitish Kumar, now going by the polls, Nitish Kumar and the BJP are in power for how long at a stretch there in Bihar? 20 years?
Yes, 4 terms.
4 terms.
No, with 2 breaks.
With 2 snatches of
2 years each, when the BJP had broken, JDU had broken away from BJP and had tied up with RJD. So we had 2 snatches in between.
Briefly.
So there were, once was 17 months and once was about 6 to 7 months.
Whatever.
Okay, so short breaks, but largely 22 years.
20 years.
20 years. 20
2005
years of
onwards,
being
yeah.
in power, and Bihar seems to be still wanting
and
the
Mr.
NDA
Nitish
back.
Kumar too had a small break when he put Mr. Jitan Ram Manjhi as the chief minister.
Yeah. So somehow the
therefore,
NDA has
if they
managed
win,
to come back to
it's
power
like-
every
it's a
time.
history.
Yeah, it's absolutely historic if the
for-
NDA
after
comes to
4
power.
terms.
This is the longest spell, something like what we saw in Madhya Pradesh. Though it's been with breaks and with a little, some hitches and glitches in the middle, but largely it seems like the NDA has managed to stay in power, and they seem to be for the next 5 years. We're going to wait for the real numbers. Watch News 9 on November 14th. We'll be right here spelling you out the election results. Thanks very much, our panelists, for joining us. All right, have a great night. Thank you.
एक्सक्यूज मी, आपने भारत कनेक्ट का नाम सुना है?
कोई जॉब वेबसाइट है? वैकेंसी है?
जॉब्स नहीं, वो 700 से ज्यादा एप्स पे